Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the right side of campus. It's Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 22nd, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus, getting you ready for Turkey Day full of food, fun, and family. And football too. We get to that as well. We'll chat a little Thanksgiving. We got all sorts of stuff to get to. We hope you are having a great day. Many of you off from work, so we expect many likes on the show today. Hope you enjoy the next hour. We'll get you through it. No loss, no time for the weary, Donnie Right said. We don't take a day off here. We keep it going.
Absolutely got to keep it going here. And it's Thanksgiving. Got a couple games to look at, 2 college football games. We'll keep it lighthearted today, but you're right. Most people have the day off. Most people just waking up at this point, probably with a severe hangover, depending on how old you are. If you went out and partied with the old high school crew and, got back together, get the band back together, so to speak, Jeff. But should be able to cover these games today, have some fun, hopefully pick out some winners, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon after we're off the air.
Donnie, you're getting older when you don't do that anymore. So when you start, you have that 5-year window after high school where not a lot of you have real jobs, so you could still come home and, you can still see your friends for Thanksgiving. You can still go play football, that kind of stuff. I had that group of friends where, they still live somewhat locally. They went to college locally. They would even come home from college locally. But then, Donnie, once all that ends, you got to get married. You get some kids. I have a friend of mine, a best friend of mine. He lives in California. He can't just come home anymore. It's got to be a long-term kind of thing. So, yeah, you definitely know you're getting older when that starts happening, Donnie.
Yeah, I was done with that about maybe 23 years old at that point. Come home a couple years from college because I lived away. And then after that, you sort of grow apart. You have your set friends for life and on the way you go. But it is a nice little gathering meeting thing. You come home because most of the time because I played football in college, I didn't get to come home at all in the fall. So my first time home would be the Thanksgiving break. That's where you catch up with everybody, catch the local high school game and eat dinner with your family and stuff. So good times to be had.
I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. We hope you have a great day and hope it's filled with plenty of good things. And we'll have some fun here over the next hour. Hit the like button for us, please. Let us know you're out there by communicating with us in the chat box. If you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're checking out all the great shows here SPR has to offer. So many great, concepts. And, if you want basketball, you want football, you want soccer, whatever you want to take a look at, SPR has you covered. Also, one of the best line services in the business. Make sure you're using SPR odds every time you're looking to compare and contrast lines. Lines from over 40 sportsbooks. Make sure you don't lose out by half a point or lose a couple dollars because you don't want a line shop. Donnie, let's get into some morning headlines here. And it's first, happy Thanksgiving, Donnie. Let me ask you, you and I have had this conversation, and I will, again, we need to preface this. I get that there are other places that, maybe other areas of the country, everybody's Thanksgiving plate looks a little different. But I ask you, Donnie, in front of everybody here, what is your favorite part of the meal?
My favorite part of the meal it has to be because, you try to eat as much as you can on Thanksgiving. I think that's the goal, right? Nobody's portion appropriate, and you shouldn't be counting calories. I don't even care if you're on a diet. Thanksgiving, all bets are off. My favorite part, Jeff, is actually just the first plate itself. And I'm probably like a lot of people out there. You don't just dip right into the turkey, Jeff. You get the turkey, which is a big portion of your plate, and then you get 5 to 6 sides set up on the other side of the plate. My favorite is going over each one of those sides. You're not finishing it, right? You need a taste of all those flavors even before you hit the turkey. That's my favorite part. Give me the flavors, then give me the turkey.
No, hey, listen, I'm a one, let's get something a little bit of everything here at once. Yeah, I agree with you. Now, Donnie, do you sit at the head of the table? Is that your spot or what?
No, that's reserved for even if it's at your house. I mean, look, put it this way. You usually have so many family members over. It's been a really long time since maybe I was a kid that we actually sat down as a family in one room. There's so much food and stuff. You literally have a buffet style set up anymore. And I'm in front of the TV. For 20 years, I've been in front of the TV. So no, I'm not at the head of the table.
See, my mother, Donnie, she doesn't play that shit. We don't
Nah,
have no
see, no, no,
TV
no,
around.
yeah, no mom's turning TVs
Yeah,
off. I have a stepmom that used to do that for
yeah.
like
See,
Christmas. Everybody in here turn the TV. I'm not doing. No, I sit right set dead smack center in front of the TV. If I'm in New Jersey, South Philadelphia, if I'm with my wife's family, my family, I'm right in the middle of the TV every single
see,
year.
that's the thing. When my grandfather was around, we would do that. But my grandpa's not around no more. My father, my dad's not a big sports guy. Like he
Yeah.
likes it. Like he'll watch it because I like it, but my father doesn't watch. Like he's not into sports like we are. So I don't really have that. Actually, you know what, Donnie? You know what we do have in my house? My mother puts on music, like
No, it's, yeah,
fucking Christmas.
I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it, especially since we're in the gambling industry. Like stuff's popping. Like you have to be on top of it,
Yeah.
right? Maybe you want
See,
to get
for
an
me,
in live game wager, or somebody say, "Yo, Jeff, do you see that play?" Nah, dude, I'm at the dinner table with a napkin on my lap. Come on.
yeah, that's what they make. I'll tell you, that's what they make highlights for, I guess. But yeah, Donnie, ask me who sits at the heads of my table.
Mom and pops.
No, big man on campus and dad. Yes, that's who sits at the heads of the table in my house, Donnie. All right, a couple of comments here. Yeah, I'm out on mac and cheese. I don't get
DJ
that.
knows, and I'm glad we're having more people in here today because we had the radio show yesterday, so we didn't have a live chat box. Big Man on Campus saying that mac and cheese is not a part of Thanksgiving, which is
It's not.
just sacrilegious on my part.
No,
You
it is
have to have a
not.
really good scratch homemade mac and cheese that has to be a part of
But
the
listen
Thanksgiving
again,
meal.
Donnie. You have to remember that not everybody eats the same way as everybody. I don't have it. It's not part of my Thanksgiving. I don't think it's part of Thanksgiving. To me, Thanksgiving is stuffing, mashed potatoes, turkey, corn, cranberry
Yes,
sauce,
it's all
cream meat
that. It's all
casserole,
that.
a
But you
little
need the
nice piece of bread. Mac and cheese is not on that thing. Now, again, if you live in a different household, it might be part of your thing. For me, it's not. I'm fairly somewhat traditional with that. Living in an Italian household, we got to sit at the head of the table. Good point. I'm not Italian, but I agree. Similar
Yeah, by the way,
cultural.
Joe, how about the lull? How about the afternoon lull, right? Because usually, like my family, large part Italian, we eat a little bit earlier. So during that, like, Lions game, as it winds down around halftime, because the game starts 12:30. So we're eating probably about halftime, 2:30-ish in that range, a little bit after halftime. You get that Dallas Cowboys lull in the afternoon. And everybody knows what I mean by that, right, Jeff? 2, 3 plates deep. You sit back, you take a deep breath, maybe had a cocktail, starting to get that tryptophan set in. You get that little lull during the Cowboys game. You get that over there at your place?
Oh, sure. I mean, I actually mentioned though we eat a little bit later, Donnie. I know, so like we eat at like 5, so it might come a little later, but yeah, ours
I
very
can't believe you eat at
traditional.
5 o'clock on Thanksgiving. Like I'm
Yeah,
astonished by you eating at 5 o'clock
yeah.
with a big
Well, see, the
family.
thing is,
I'm astonished.
we like people don't get to my mother's house till I don't know 2 maybe. You sit around, you have a beer or whatever you're
Yeah, yeah,
drinking,
yeah. I hear
little
you.
finger
Yep.
food, and it's a regular dinner time. Or even, dude, if it's me, I even prefer it a little later, even 6. That's good with me.
Really?
Eat
No,
at
but see, I'm
6.
the opposite end of it, Jeff. Like I'm thinking like we can like sneak in like a lunch and a dinner at Thanksgiving, and
Yeah,
then
nah,
have plenty of time at night to knock down some pies.
we definitely do that. Let's say around 8 or 9 o'clock, you grab the pie, you eat the pie, boom, bang, boom. Yeah, I know it's interesting that people definitely eat at different times. Us Italians, I'm not going to say that word, in New York don't have many mac and cheese on our table. Yeah, I think that's a very much a regional kind of thing. I know this cat on ESPN had it number 1 as his meal on his plate. But I would I don't have it, which is just different.
Like I mean, like as you
Um,
get older, like when you're little, Christmas, you love Christmas, right? Because you're getting presents. Like you don't have your own money.
sure,
Mom and dad hooking you up with Game Boys and PlayStation and Switches and all
sure.
that stuff back in the day. Sure, a lot of fun. But as you grow older, like I just look forward to the food, man. I'm a food guy. You wake up like most people have off. My mother-in-law, my wife in the kitchen right now. Just you walk in, they tell you just throw you right out because there's not enough room for me to even walk in there and get something to drink or eat. Just get out of the kitchen, get out of the way. Love Thanksgiving, man. I love my love for food, and it comes out on Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday, man, by far.
Also, let me tell you this: if you're not a single male with no family, if you're anything other than that, and you go out for Thanksgiving, you're a complete hack. Seriously.
Wait, what do you mean going out? What do you mean by that?
Like you go out to like a restaurant that Thanksgiving.
No, yeah. And how about this? There's people in Philadelphia, primarily on the radio, that eat Chinese, Jeff, on Thanksgiving. Like, can it just be
really? Who's that?
That's 15, 20 years. That's one guy who says he's from South Philadelphia, moved out to the suburbs of New Jersey to Washington Township. He does Chinese on
really?
That's 15 to
that?
Yeah, that's 15
really?
to 20. What you should get. If you let it be known, like you eat Chinese on Thanksgiving instead of turkey, you need to be sent to the pen. That's a federal offense.
Yeah, I've never heard him say that. Wow.
Yes.
I've known him for many years.
Today.
Wow.
Today, yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's
imagine that is up to your house, like your mom's cooking everything, and like this guy's new to the family, right? He comes over.
Yeah.
Yobo.
Yeah.
You put this lo mein in the fridge for me for dinner, and you're like, you know what? You got to just get out. Like, you can't even be around here. You can't be around my family.
Yeah, that's that. But talk about a violation. He's king of violations.
He is king. Oh, how about Mark Thompson here? His dad's family caters. Now, see, you can't. That's the point of Thanksgiving. It's homemade, isn't it? Even if even if you know on your way over, like I got to go to Aunt Carol's today or Aunt Lucy's today or whatever your aunt's name is, and you're like, man, she always makes that turkey dry, but you have to make it from scratch. That's the whole point of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dude. If you're here's the thing: if you're catering or going out to a restaurant,
you're just gonna go to Boston Market. You know what I mean? Come on.
Like I said, if you're single and like you're not near your family and you can't get home, okay, I get that. But if you're like if you have like sick, I don't know, 3 kids and your grandmother and your grandfather and you're going out for Thanksgiving, Christ, man, catering's not as bad because at least you're at home.
No, but that's against everything Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is about
some people.
Most people's wives don't even cook all year long, but they still make a Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah, I mean,
hey,
you
babe,
could just
did
be
you
maybe
pick up the turkey from the caterer today. What? That's no. You might as well just eat McDonald's, man.
Well, listen. Sometimes you're not. There are people out there that don't cook, which I get that. But yeah, listen. The going out is the worst. Again, I'm still blown away that there's actually people on this chat that still think I'm a Patriots fan. It's not a fucking Patriots shirt. It's a Pat's King of Steak shirt. I'm an Eagle fan till I'm dead. Till I die, I'm an Eagle fan. I bleed fucking Eagle green. I don't care if they lose 10,000 games in a row. I'm always going to be an Eagle fan. That's never going to change. I bleed it, Donnie. Come on. Do I have to explain that anymore?
No, I don't think. I think people have already caught on to this shirt and have seen people harass you about it, so they just keep it. I would if I was trolling out there. I'd come into the show and be like, Jeff's got his Pat Steak shirt on. I'm just going to say he's a Patriot fan.
By the way, when did the Patriots get a
Pats with apostrophe?
Yeah, when did the apostrophe show up?
My dad's mom is the worst cook ever. Yeah, look, we all get that. You know it too. Like, man, I'm going to this place again. Turkey was whack. Mashed potatoes were whack. But it's still a rite of passage. You just deal with it because it's homemade, and hopefully somebody stepped up their game the next year.
Let's
have you ever actually gone to somebody's Thanksgiving dinner and be like, the turkey's not good, and neither are the sides? I don't think that's ever happened to me though.
No,
I feel bad because
I don't ever.
I can't imagine Can you imagine a more disappointment, Jeff? That you're going to Thanksgiving dinner and it wasn't good? Oh my God, that ruined your whole year.
Listen, I'll also make it clear I will never go anywhere else but my mother's house. I'm not going to that's why if I have a girlfriend, no, I'm not going to your house. You come to mine. If you don't like that, sorry. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere else. Not happening. Mother's house.
I have a big extended family, which for many years, you're stopping over somebody's house to have like a pre-Thanksgiving meal, but you don't want to eat too much. Then you're going to one of the family's house where you're going to eat your meal, but you make sure you don't eat too much. And then you go over like your mom's at night or your dad's at night, and then you have dessert. Not today, baby. Not today. Not today.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Hope you have a great day. LeBron James goes back to Cleveland and beats the Cavs. Wasn't easy though. They didn't cover the number. Cavs +9 come in. And you look, Donnie. I mean, they gave him a nice reception, which is nice. They didn't boo him like some nuts, imbeciles. LeBron did obviously so much for Cleveland. Nice win for the Lakers, but don't cover.
Yeah, no, I actually, waking up this morning was going to be all football, but look, I couldn't pass that by. LeBron James returns back to Cleveland, scrape out a win. How did he actually do in that game, Jeff? How many points did we have for LeBron?
I'm not sure. I
Let's
didn't watch a ton of this game. I just kind of had it on and saw that they
32,
covered
14, and 7.
32.
There you go.
There
Typical
you go.
LeBron game. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you look at a balanced game for the starting five. I mean, 30. I mean, again, LeBron always is going to have way more points, but 32 points for LeBron, 14 boards, Kuzma 12, McGee 12, Lonzo 15, 7 and 6. Nice game for Lonzo. Ever since his breakup with Denise Garcia, Donnie, he's killing it. Brandon Ingram 14, KCP 13. Nice night for the 6 Lakers, Donnie. If you play that every night, you're going to get the job done. But Cavs 2 and 14 get through the back door and cover. What else do we have here? Gonzaga, big win for Gonzaga, Donnie, yesterday. What a great game that was to really get your couple days started. Thanksgiving kind of starts on Wednesday night. What a great classic game, Donnie, that you kind of have on towards the end of the day, right? Kind of as you're getting ready to go out, that kind of stuff. Great win for Gonzaga. To me, Donnie, Gonzaga, best team in the country right now. I think beating Duke was kind of the early season thing they needed. And we have to start looking, Donnie, at the real fact of, can they go undefeated this year? They don't have any difficult conference, as we know. They'll go undefeated there. But this is a good basketball team that is still without their best player. Remember, Tilly injured until probably a couple more months. This is a good basketball team, great defenders. I thought late was terrific. Them playing late was terrific. They were getting defensive stops. They made Duke play in the half court for most of the game. Ball screen offense was terrific. Big win for the Zags. Terrific game.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, look, we're going to have multiple national championships proclaimed this year, Jeff. Duke already won one. I mean, they played like 1 or 2 games. They already hung a banner for national championship for 2018, 2019. Now it looks like Gonzaga is going to hang their banner already, Jeff, before Thanksgiving. Could this be one of those years, Jeff, we have 5 to 6 national champions and then we crown another one at the end of the season?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's early. As is everything. You don't take it too seriously. I think they're the most complete basketball team. I think Kansas is really good, though. So I think Kentucky's very good. But to do that to that team,
fundamentally sound, man. It's so fun to watch, isn't it? And always I always like to say the culture clash, right, Jeff? You have Mark Few saying this is a program that we have here. These guys come here 2, 3, 4 years, and now you have that upper level clash with Duke, who's now revolving around. We're going to take those studs out of high school and see if you can mold them. That's what's fun about college basketball, because it's not Fab Five freshmen, and then you play. You get these matchups all the time, which is so much fun to watch. It really is.
I will say this till the cows come home. With what he has to work with, Mark Few is the best coach in the country. Game day, preparation, being on the road, everything he does, getting the right players to come there, filling a team out, going internationally and scouting. Him and his coaching staff are phenomenal. I'll tell you about Donnie, and I'll tell you about this more as the season goes on. His assistant coach, Tommy Lloyd, if I'm a fucking program out there, I'd go after him right now. He has gotten all those kids to come play there, the Rui Hachimuras, all the Sabonises, all those guys. That is a terrific coaching staff. And you're right, Donnie, such a fundamental team. They don't make mistakes. They're a good group to root for, too. They're not these 5-star players look at Brandon Clark, for instance, Donnie. Brandon Clark played at San Jose State for 2 years. Leaves there, one of the worst programs in the country, sits out a year. Now he plays Gonzaga. Josh Perkins
for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite game has been? They match up twice a year, and my favorite
Gonzaga,
game, forget about Duke, every year. It's like ballet. It's literally like ballet out there. I don't know. I haven't paid attention too much to St. Mary's this year, but you have those schooled guys, the overseas guys, 21, 22, 23 years old, play the game the right way. Literally my favorite games every single year is between those two teams.
Now, Donnie, people have asked me what's a basketball game, college basketball game you want to go to. I've always made it clear I'd love to go to both of those games. The one in Spokane
Home
and
and
the one
away.
in Morocco.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just what a great thing that would be. By the way, Donnie, St. Mary's 3-2 to start the season.
Come on, St.
With
Mary's, get it
losses.
together.
Keep in mind though, the losses are to Utah State, who's playing very well, and Mississippi State, who's ranked. So out of conference is out of conference.
Randy Bennett will get it
Let's
together.
keep. Yeah, he will for sure. Warriors lose 4 straight. How about that? I was watching this game for a little bit last night. Thunder really took off. The game was pretty close for a while, and then in the fourth quarter, Thunder just cruised, outscoring the Warriors by 20 in the fourth quarter. That doesn't happen very often. No Draymond, no Steph Curry. Some things off the court going on. Look at the Warriors last night, Donnie. Clay and Kevin Durant did what they could, but no one else really stepped up. You don't have much of a team when those two go. Russell Westbrook only with 11 points does get a triple-double, but it was Paul George, it was Dennis Schroeder, it was Steven Adams, it was everyone else. Impressive win for the Thunder. I thought that line kind of stuck out, Donnie. If you're looking at lines and stuff, I feel like every time the Warriors are like a pick 'em, basically, people just bet them. But Thunder playing well.
Yeah, and I mean the question, the old adage goes, Jeff, which would rather have if you're Westbrook out there, that you got the triple double, so the game doesn't matter anymore once he gets the triple double. So I wonder if he even cared if they won that game. What do you think, Jeff?
I think he cared for sure.
Hey, by the way, quick real point on our local boys last night. I mean, it's almost getting to the point where you take it for granted what Joel Embiid actually does out there as a center every single
Donnie,
night.
Real quick, maybe I guess I sent you the lowdown today. You must not have got it. I must have.
No, I didn't get it. No, I actually didn't get it. No.
Yeah, because I made Markelle Fultz part of this. I'm surprised you didn't put that on here.
No, go ahead, put it up there. Yeah, no, I didn't get anything there. I just
obvious pathetic news coming out of this group. Markelle Fultz wants out of Philadelphia now. What a fucking crumb this guy is.
Where does he want to go? To Delaware? Blue Coat?
I don't know.
Is that where he wants to send me down to the Blue Coat? Let me dominate that.
And now his agent is saying it's not true, and he loves Philadelphia, and it's pure fiction. This guy is a complete.
Has he not had the worst guidance, by the way? Who does he surround himself with? Who does the absolute opposite of what you're supposed to do in the NBA?
It's these young kids today. They cannot take the reins and say, "It's my fucking life. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'll listen to what you have to say."
That tells you a lot about the kid. You know what I mean? Tells you a lot about he's just going to be
look at all these kids, Doc.
We're going to make stuff up, get it. Why not just get out? Why not if he just came out, Jeff, after the summer last year? It's like, look, man, something happened to me. I was just in the gym the other day, and I had this little tick, and I just couldn't shoot jumpers.
There's nothing wrong with him.
Get it figured out. There's nothing wrong with him. It's just in his head. It's completely 100% in his head. There's no injury. There never was. And I just wish he would have got out in front of it. Like, hey, look, in sports, this happens. I have something psychologically in my head that will not allow me to shoot a jump shot. I used to have a nice, wet jumper all throughout my life, and it's completely gone, and I'll try to work on it. You know what people would say, Jeff? Damn, that sucks, but he's working on it. Not, you know what? I have a shoulder imbalance for 6 months that doesn't have that. We all knew what it was. You lost your jump shot, and you can't find it. Just admit it and move on. Done.
I mean, again, he's not the worst bust in history. I mean, Anthony Bennett's way worse. But listen, at this point, you have to ask yourself.
I don't know. Is it way worse? Because of what you had to give up to go up to get him at number one?
Well,
like, at least Anthony Bennett was in a bad draft class, and you busted the first pick, but you didn't give up any assets.
Yeah, but at least he played, and Markelle Fultz at least played and giving you something. But you can make a case for it, though, as well. Listen, at what point do you say to yourself, Donnie, let's just get this out of here? It's too much of a distraction.
Yeah, it's a new GM too. You know what I mean? What Elton Brand can come in and wipe this clean. Like, that's not my guy. So you're not, because if you're the GM, you're never going to give up on your guy. Like, I can't admit I'm praying that Markelle Fultz turns into an okay NBA player, so I can say, hey, well, he was a serviceable guy. Wasn't what we thought, but he was serviceable. No, Brian Colangelo is gone. Dump this guy. It's not. It's out of your psyche now. Get rid of him.
Would you, if I'm, let's say I'm the Jazz, and I say to you, I want Markelle Fultz. I'll give you a second-round pick. Would you do that?
Go on, say it. Go on. Yeah, absolutely, because Markelle Fultz is due to make $10 million next year. Markelle Fultz is going to be a $10 million player next year, and what's he give you? He's like your 12th best player on a 12-man team. He's a dime a dozen that shouldn't be in the NBA.
What about cash considerations? Would you take that?
Go on, say it. Yep. Yeah, you're going to take his contract out of here. You're going to take his contract next time you come to Philly. I'll take you out. We'll get some cheesesteaks. We'll hit up Ruth's Chris, and I'll show you the nightlife to throw it on top to show you how our appreciation for you taking him as well.
What about this? You give us $100,000 and we'll take him. Would you do that?
Yes, like exactly. Like we'll send him to you, and then we'll get a GoFundMe account that'll raise $1 million, and we'll give that to you as well to take him.
That's fucking great, man. What a mess. What a complete joke. We're actually having this conversation. Amazing.
It is.
You don't think Fultz is that bad? Well, what
by
are you
the way,
watching?
Jeff, everybody was already after night one where the Celtics beat the Sixers. It was penciled in that the Celtics will be the number 1 seed in the East, and hopefully can get lucky and ball out in the finals and make it a game or make it a series. 9-9, Jeff. Those Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah, no. They lose last night to the Knicks, laying 13 points. That's a great point by you. And how about Donnie, the Grizzlies? They're leading the Western Conference. How about that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a interesting thing, the NBA early season. Let me ask you, Donnie. I feel where I could see Markelle Fultz going. Send him to Cleveland.
Where would he?
Cleveland.
Like a waste. Yeah, like a
Put him with
wasteland team. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because they're not good anyway. So why not just send him there? Like he get healthy. You put him with Colin Sexton.
I had the perfect scenario. I had the perfect scenario for Markelle Fultz in Philadelphia, Jeff. If you're the front office, you send him down to the Blue Coats. I tell you this every day, just about. Send him down to the Blue Coats, the G League team. Tell the coach there that Markelle Fultz has to shoot every single time down. Like nobody else is allowed to shoot for the entire game. And Fultz puts up 75 to 80 shots a game for the next 50 games for the Blue Coats. That's the only way to fix it, right? Get over your phobia.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter if you shoot the ball and it ends up in the third row. You will shoot every single time down court. Nobody else is allowed to shoot.
Donnie, that's the point. It's not even about his shot anymore. It's about him mentally. He's not ever.
That's what I mean. That's how you're going to get over it, right? You have a 24-second shot clock. Hey, Markelle, it's up to you. You got to shoot. If you don't feel like you can shoot in your head, the horn will just go off and you turn the ball over to the other team.
He's just like a lot of these young kids. I mean, Eli Apple or whoever. He has the wrong. Look at Kawhi Leonard. He's another prime example. Kawhi Leonard, though, is actually good, but I mean, he had a lot of misguided people leading him as well. I mean, it's the unfortunate part of
Eli Apple's mom anymore. Eli Apple's mom was very much in the forefront, Jeff, when she thought he was a good football player.
Yeah, no, she's not around anymore, which is a shame. One other story here, Donnie. Adrian Peterson came out with some damning comments yesterday. According to a story in Bleacher Report, Peterson was asked if he still abuses his son. He says, I had to discipline my son and spank him the other day with a belt. He said he also disciplines his kids in various other ways, including having him do wall squats or sitting in timeout or taking away electronics. There's different ways to discipline my kids. I didn't let that change me, Peterson said in an article. Keep in mind, Donnie, in 2014, he was arrested for felony child abuse using a switch to spank his then 4-year-old son. It resulted in cuts and bruises. Listen, we didn't have a show when this happened. Now, I'm going to make this clear. When I was a kid, my dad hit me a couple different times, and I remember it well, and I never fucking did anything stupid again. I'm not saying, though, that I would ever hit my kid, especially to this level. It is kind of pathetic still to hear, though, that even after serving a suspension, even being arrested, felony, he's still doing this. You would think he'd become a bit more, not softer, but a little bit more, he would have a little bit more commendation to his kids at this point and not be doing that sort of thing. And again, does it seem like he's fit to be a father, Donnie? I don't know. I mean, some of this stuff is continuously the same stuff with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways that you can discipline. Like I have a daughter.
Sure.
And, I guess it might be different than having a son because she'll get away with murder, and I can't raise my hand. And my wife yelled like, "You need to discipline her," when she said, maybe it's because it's a girl and I'm a guy, I'm father. I don't know, but there are ways. And me growing up, and I remember like getting hit with the belt. There's degrees to getting hit with the belt. There's sending your kid to the hospital because they need to take pictures of him because you beat him so bad with the belt. And then there's take off the belt as the scare tactic, and the kid has his clothes on, and you give him a little rap on the butt. You know what I mean? Don't do it again. I understand that because that's more psychological. Like, Dad's going to get out the belt, and, ooh, that could really hurt. But there's a way to do that and, get a kid right. I would never hit my child with a belt, or I just don't believe in that type of discipline. The kids, positive motivation, love the kid. they're going to rebel against you, but there's other ways you can get around it. I just don't understand where hitting your kid to the point where it's like a child abuse. He has to go to the hospital or the doctor. Like, how does that sit with you as a dad? Like, you leave the house and you say, do you have remorse? Do you even feel bad? Or it doesn't seem like he cares about that. Like, yeah, I'm just going to beat his ass again if he makes a mess or leaves his crowns out. I don't understand that, though.
There's a very fine line, okay? Any object you bring out, again, that's making it work. Listen, I remember a few of the times my dad gave me a nice smack. I remember that stuff, and I never did it again, and I'm sure people can relate. But my father never took it to the point of stuff like this behavior. Some of the stuff you read, pathetic stuff, really. And I think it's different, Donnie. Like my sister. I mean, I still to this day think my sister never got in trouble, ever. My father never did, he never hit my sister, but he never yelled at my sister. My sister had never anything happened to her. Even my younger brother was a baby, so he would just get all that love. I was the one, and that's kind of, one of the reasons why maybe I have certain problems with me now. But yeah, my dad never, this is pathetic behavior by Adrian Peterson. And
how about Steve Robinson? He's right on this too, Jeff. I got whooped and came out to my cousin laughing at me, and then we fought. That's right. Yes, sure. Absolutely, man. By the way, Jeff, I'm not even an ancient guy. I'm not talking about the 50s and the 60s. In the 80s, Jeff, I was in second grade, and one of the kids got in trouble in the class. Back in the day, what did they do? I'm going to call your mom. Oh no, he's going to call my mom. Like, your day's over, because when you get home, you're going to be in trouble. The dad actually came into the classroom, Jeff, and spanked the kid in front of the classroom. You believe that? Like, that's the way it used to go down in the 80s, man. Can you imagine that? Comes into the classroom in front of everybody and smacks the kid. Or, I mean, it wasn't like crazy, like I'm beating the hell out of my kid, but almost like prove a point. Can you imagine that going on in public schools today? Jim Smith's dad came in, beat him in the second period, but fixed him, disciplined him.
Oh, no, nowadays the kids beat up the teachers, and they can't do anything about it.
They can't do anything about it. You're
just
right.
Like, I guess we can't. Did you see the other week, Donnie, in like California or whatever? That the kid was fucking with the teacher, and the teacher just started wailing on him, like beating him the fuck up.
Yeah. And then the teacher's going to get fired, but he had to go fund me with a lot of cake in there, man.
$100,000.
Yeah, exactly. Here's your retirement plan, my man. Thank you.
By the way, Donnie, real quick, we have a few minutes here. We never talked about those hacks in New Jersey that did the GoFundMe account for that homeless guy and then kept all the money. Yeah. Remember that?
Amazing. My wife always used to tell me, she's been around the block a little bit, and she's like, Donnie, if you think that a crack addict, heroin addict was going to give anybody their last $20 bill, you must be crazy. You know what? I said, you know what? You make a lot of sense here.
She is so right. If you're and I liken it, Donnie, to The Wire, season 1. Do you remember when they brought Bubbles in to be a snitch? They brought him down to that basement thing that they had, that office. And Sidner walks in. Him and Bubbles are going to try to do hand-to-hands with the drug dealers and try to get people on tape and stuff. And Sidner walks in looking like a junkie. And Bubbles just breaks him down. He's like, yo, you don't have a ring on. You don't have, you're married to the needle, boy. And everything about him, he just starts, coming at. If you're a dead bottom, low bottom dope fiend, you do not have $20, and you have no interest in giving that $20 to anybody.
You know what you're probably doing with the person broke down on the side of the road? Not ready.
Trying to rob them.
You got a couple dollars you can spare in there? It's not the other way around.
Get away from me. I need to get I need to get home. You're trying to rob them in there, anything you could do. You do what you got to do when you're like that. Yeah, that sure didn't make sense in the beginning, man. But if you don't know what we're talking about, in Philadelphia, there was a guy, supposedly a woman was. Yeah, you look it up. The lady was broke down on the side of the street. This dope fiend comes up to him, supposedly gives her $20, and she took that.
Stay in the car, lock your doors, takes 20, and I don't even understand how he got the $20 doesn't make any sense, because correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, you can't carry $20 of gas. Did he carry $20 of gas in a gas can? What did he have? 17 gas cans? Like, the story didn't even add up.
No, and then supposedly after everything, they got this like GoFundMe account, and supposedly they knew each other the whole time, and it was all of a setup, and yeah, it was kind of pathetic. But let's move on.
Let's get
Let's
to
get into some
football.
football here. We'll start out with the Bears heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. Bears 3, total 43. Mitch Trubisky, doubtful, probably not going to play in this game. In fact, I don't think he is playing in this game. So he's out. It's going to be Chase Daniel, the new quarterback for the Bears. Donnie, look, you and I talked about this game yesterday. I don't have any interest in the Detroit Lions right now. I think you talk about this line. It's still at the end of the day, you look at the way the Bears are going to move the ball. It's short passes. It's Trey Burton. It's Tariq Cohen. It's short stuff. Chase Daniel, not a terrible backup. He's been around the league a long time. It's really, for me, the defense. And I look at Detroit. I know you're going to mention no Marvin Jones, no
Kerryon
Johnson. So, there's injuries here. You got to ask yourself, look, how does Detroit move the football? I don't know that I see it. Where do you see with the line here? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we'll go right down the little list down there. Chase Daniel steps in, and one of my favorite part about Chase Daniel stepping in is we had him in Philadelphia. He made way too much money to be a backup quarterback, but was sort of that bridge gap, good guy in the locker room, was able to understand the playbook and communicate it and run the scout team and teach a younger quarterback like some reads to make out there. He fits that role pretty well. But the one thing I do hate about him starting, Jeff, is not actually on the field of play, is that people call him Chase Daniels way too much, Jeff. And they even did it in Philadelphia, call the radio station. You'll see it on Twitter today. Chase Daniels. Exactly. Chase Daniels. Chase Daniels. Oh, my God, Chase Daniels is starting. That's going to pop up all over Twitter and give you an absolute headache today. But him stepping in, how much of a downgrade is he? We haven't seen him, Jeff, since 2014? So it's been about 4 years since he's actually started at quarterback. The one thing that you like is he is a veteran. And from all intents and purposes, throughout the years, whether it's in New Orleans, Philadelphia, wherever he ended up, everybody tells you down to a T, Jeff, this guy's prepared. And it says a lot about a quarterback, especially a backup, because when he has the easiest job in football, he's not supposed to play. On most teams, he doesn't play, and he's banking every single year. So one would think that you might take it a little bit for granted. Like, dude, I banked like $20 million. I'm never going to play. Now he steps into the limelight on a short week, but he knows the playbook like the back of his hand, which is going to help them out. Because as a quarterback in the Chicago Bears offense, it's not built on the quarterback, Jeff, right? We don't watch the Chicago Bears and say, let me see what Mitch is going to do today. 20 of 24, 315 yards and 4 touchdowns. No. Mitch Trubisky's back there to run the offense, pick up some, athletic yards, so to speak, outside the pocket, let your players do the rest, and lean on a really good defense. I think Chase Daniel's going to be good enough to operate the offense, not make the big mistake, hand the football off to Howard, throw dump screens out there to Cohen, and you have some pretty good wide receivers on the outside that can deal with it. Now, taking a look here, that's the part of the Chicago Bears, and granted, I like the Bears today. It's hard for me to bet on a road team, especially on Thursday, but Jeff, let's talk about this point here. Fastest turnaround ever in a game. Most people say, well, what does that actually mean? People play on Thursdays. Let's take a look at what happened. Detroit played at 1 o'clock at home on Sunday afternoon, Jeff, and beat the Carolina Panthers. They're already home. They're rested. 4:30 the game's, or 4 o'clock the game's over. Pregame, go home, drive home. You're eating dinner by 6:30 or 7, relaxing, and the coaching staff is getting ready for the next football game. Look at the Chicago Bears, Jeff. They played Sunday night in basically a must-win situation against a division rival with the Minnesota Vikings in cold weather, and that game gets over, Central Time, knock the hour off, 11 o'clock, let's say. By the time they get home and eat or do whatever they got to do, 1:30, 2 a.m. in the morning, and then you got to turn around and get ready for another football game. And, oh, yeah, this isn't a Thursday night football game, Jeff, where you have till 8 p.m. at night to even get more time in, recuperation, maybe an extra walkthrough or so. You're playing at 12:30 on the road on Thursday. Now, talk to me, Jeff. Just your thoughts on that process. Do you think that's going to come into play in this football game?
I think it already has. The Bears are already whining about it. They don't like it. Keep in mind, Donnie. I mean, Thursday favorites are 7-2 ATS this year against the spread,
Yes.
which, again, road favorites have not been. It's not. We talk all the time. I don't want a road team at all, and now I got to compound it by taking a road favorite. Yeah, it's not a great spot. Plus, it's Chase Daniel. At the end of the day, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Chase Daniel's not a guy I'm in love with, but I agree with you, though. I think for the Chicago Bears, I don't know that it's ever about the offense carrying them. It's been a pleasant surprise, but even in that game on Sunday, their offense was good, but it was poor in the
They were a
second
play
half.
away, Jeff. Remember the one play in the second half where Xavier Rhodes jumped the route? It really should have been a pick six, but Xavier Rhodes couldn't make the interception. Mitch Trubisky has thrown a couple really bad passes at bad times. That if you just look, a punt's not a bad thing for the Chicago Bears. It's really not.
And that's my point. The defense carries his team. The defense is the reason they win games. They force turnovers. They make things happen. I mean, they forced a turnover in like 6 straight games. I mean, that's the common theme with the Bears. The quarterback and the running back, they're just there to move the ball and get first downs. They're not the main focal point of this football team. And that's where I look at it and I say to myself, the Lions give up a lot of sacks. I mean, Matt Stafford's been sacked like over 20 times in the last 3 games. You look at the fact that his numbers are not good this year. He's on point for he's on par for having the worst season of his career. And he's also not been good against good defense. You look at his career numbers, they're not good, which is common between quarterbacks. But yeah, Matt Stafford to me is just, Donnie, not a winner. I'm sorry. He doesn't win games. He's just, and he's not even a fantasy guy anymore. He's not even putting up big numbers. So you ask yourself, at what point is he just not really worth backing? Add in the fact that Marvin Jones is out, Kerryon Johnson, you lost Golden Tate. The only thing you have going here is you're at home. Other than that, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to move the football. I'll take the team off the emotional win. I think they keep making it. I keep thinking they keep going with it. It's a divisional game. It's still very important. Bears have their eye on the prize at the end of the day. Might not be happy about going to play this game, but the defense still plays well and they still get enough. So I'm going to take the Bears here. What do you like?
Yeah, and again, it goes against everything because, whether or not you're going to put a little bit of money, a lot of money, or whatever you do, it's hard for me to bet on the road team. And it's just a shame that even I would have liked it a little bit better if this game was at night. Again, it's all about recuperation and getting ready for prep and getting after it. The good thing, and again, I state that by saying Chase Daniel is going to be ready for this game. He's not going to be getting up to the line of scrimmage and burning timeouts because he doesn't know the play calls or who's lined up. He is a veteran quarterback that's used to the situation. This is what you pay your backup for, Jeff. You don't pay your backup quarterback to play 3-4 games in a row, right? You play your backup quarterback, hey, look, man, if I go down in the second quarter, you can come in and operate this offense. Or if I need you for a spot start, you can give some, good performances out there. Because it's not a whole lot of tape, Jeff, on Chase Daniel and how you want to tackle him. But getting back to the original point that we're looking at from the Detroit side, where you see the tagline down there, Detroit's weapons. Look, this isn't the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. This isn't the Philadelphia Eagles secondary right now. This is a legitimate top 5 NFL defense with a nasty pass rush. We saw last time they had a nasty pass rush against them 2 games ago against the Minnesota Vikings, and they got absolutely wrecked. And in that football game, Jeff, you still had Marvin Jones for a good portion of that game. You didn't have Golden Tate in that football game, but you had a lot more weapons. Kerryon Johnson. Now you're taking all these weapons away and saying, I'm going to beat you with LeGarrette Blount and Kenny Golladay and absolutely nothing else. That's hard for me to wrap my head around against the top 5 defense in the NFL. Now, look, there are road games. It's a Thursday. Do I bet road games on Thursday? I do not, which really has me in a conundrum because I really like the Bears in the spot. And I told you early in the week, it was 4.5, 5. I said, if Chase Daniel starts, I like it even more because you're going to dip. You had 2.5s out across the board yesterday. So you should have been dipping into that once it got below 3. But today it's 3. It's hard for me to really give and say, I love it. I love this play. But again, I don't bet teams on the road on Thursday. But I think the Bears are the right angle here. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. Big man capping games again buys emotions. What the hell are you talking about? I just gave you 10,000 stats on why I like the Bears, you moron. Go eat some turkey and shut up. All right. Yeah, listen, I agree 100%. Couldn't agree with you more, Donnie. I'll be interested to see how the Daniel plays. Just be a manager. I don't need you to make big plays. Don't do stupid stuff with the football. Keep in mind, Donnie, Daniel, isn't he one of the shortest quarterbacks ever?
Yeah, he's like a Drew Brees clone. That's what was so funny when he was down in New Orleans. Like they were the same type of guy. You know what I mean? Not monster arms, not great mobility, but really smart cerebral quarterbacks that can, run the offense. And that's where he was schooled under Drew Brees. Not a bad guy to be schooled under, Jeff.
No, not at all. So we agree on this one. Washington, Dallas time. We got to pick it up a little bit. We got 15 minutes. Yep. We could go a little long today, though. No shit.
No, I think the most intriguing game of the day actually to break down was the Chicago-Detroit game. So we'll be able to roll.
Sure. Very complex, right? Cowboys hosting the Redskins, another typical, team on Thanksgiving. Cowboys 6.5. Is this true? Wow. 40.5. Cowboys, Donnie, moving down. That's interesting, Donnie. Um, you look at this game. Cowboys come in flying high, won a couple in a row, going on the road and winning, doing what they have to do, beating up Atlanta down in ATL, 2 straight road wins, which Dallas hadn't had a road win until getting those. Now they're back at home, been very good at home. Defense has played well. You got a Redskin team coming in here hobbled as well. New quarterback, Colt McCoy. Your run game is kind of fell off a little bit. Your offensive line has been brutally decimated. But I don't think Dallas is good enough to lay 7 points. Sorry. I think they're a good team. They're not a great team. I think they can, if you're Washington, another team that's hanged on their defense. You look at last game against Houston. They just defended well, forced some turnovers. You look at the last 2 games, 7 takeaways for Washington. That's how they've stayed in games, Donnie, playing some defense, keeping the scores low, having a chance to win. 7 points to me seems like a little much.
No, it does seem a little much because both of these teams play the same style, Jeff. So we're talking about, if you looked at last week with Atlanta, maybe your angle was, well, Atlanta's going to be able to force the issue and they can put up points. And, if your defense is good, Atlanta's still going to score. Dallas Cowboys were pretty good last week. We're lucky, but look, good teams get lucky. That's the whole point of it, right? You get the tip ball interceptions, you get the fumbles on the ground that you recover back. You have to be a good team and you make your own breaks. But fast forward to this week, you have 2 really staunch defenses out there and 2 teams that really want to do the same thing. Establish the running game, short, quick passes, not a lot of deep shots. The one thing that I can't get around this, Jeff. Washington is always injured, but never getting healthy. Do I miss something in the water in Washington? Like, how many times can you have a questionable wide receiver for like 7 or 8 weeks and he never makes it through the game? I don't know. I like running back and Chris Thompson. Like, these guys never get healthy. Like, if you have a rib injury or you twisted your ankle, why is it instead of 1 or 2 weeks, like 9 weeks with the Washington Redskins? Every time I look at their overall, injury report or practice list, it seems like nobody comes back. Like, can I get a wide receiver out here? Can I get a running back? Can somebody actually play outside of the defense on the Washington Redskins? Now, Colt McCoy is going to come into this football game, and he's another similar backup. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was gonna say he's played lately, but no one has led the list more than Jordan Reed. That guy's always injured.
No,
he's in
the
there.
Funny part about it, Jeff, is he's actually playing this year. When yes, he's the guy that has 8 catches for 110 yards and 2 scores, and then an ankle injury keeps him out for 9 straight weeks out of nowhere, and then he comes back and gets a concussion. Yes, you're right. Jordan Reed does do that.
Now, Don, I wanted to say something to you here. This is the most important thing any of you are going to hear today. So I want you to listen. You too, Donnie. Under Jason Garrett, the Cowboys are 0-7 against the spread on Thanksgiving. 0-7. They've never covered under him as head coach. And they failed to cover those games by 10.44 points a game. Okay, so not only do the Redskins look good here, they may even win this game. Colt McCoy, I know you're going to agree here, Donnie. Pretty good backup. I mean, for what it's worth, he's always been a solid player. That Jason Garrett stat, Donnie, is huge. This guy doesn't cover on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, most of the time you're going to get 7, so you're going to have to win by double digits in this game. Ill Eagle in the chat box brings up a good point, dude. Leighton Vander Esch is doing some stuff as a rookie that you're not supposed to do in this league, man. You're not supposed to diagnose screen passes where 2 linemen are coming to block you. You beat that and make the play for a loss. You're not supposed to have quick reflexes over the middle defending a wide receiver on a slant pass and the ball gets deflected and you somehow Velcro grip that ball up and intercept it. He's doing some things that are amazing. What a great draft pick by the Dallas Cowboys, at least early on it talks about, because, go ahead.
Sometimes I wish we could go back to comments made by big men on campus because we always remember the comments that he does make that are bad. Let's remember the good ones. I told you Leighton Vander Esch would be drafted by the Cowboys. I told you he'd be a player. The kid was a fucking great kid at Boise State. He's just he looks like a linebacker. Look at him. Everything he embodies is a linebacker. He's a steal. He's a terrific player. And I hate to see him with the Cowboys because he's going to play a long time in this league, Donnie. Sean Lee, towards the end of his career, throw this guy right in. Impressive kid.
He's an upgrade, man. He's a really good player. But getting back to the line and the spread here, now we think this game's going to break down. I mean, they're going to try to run the ball, both teams, right, Jeff? And you have two really, really good defenses. If you were looking at a total and possibly taking an under, wouldn't this game be the one where you would figure, Jeff, that it would stay under? Two really good defensive teams and two offenses that are just, I like the part that they're stuck in quicksand, and they like to be in quicksand. They don't even fight to get out of it. You're up to your hips. Don't move a lot. Don't move a lot. That's these two offenses right here. They're going to try to establish it. Who's going to make that first error? Because do you see an aerial show, Jeff? Is Dak Prescott going to come out and change up from being dink and dunked all of a sudden, throwing it all over the place against a really good front seven? The one thing that you want to watch in this game, very impressive by the Dallas Cowboys, is not the front seven, because I just told Jalen Adams is playing really well off an injury and looks like he's getting his career together. And Leighton Vander Esch has been great. But the pressure that the Dallas Cowboys are getting up front over the past couple games has been amazing, winning the line of scrimmage. As soon as the ball snapped, 2 to 3 linemen in the backfield already. Now you're going up against a banged-up Washington front line, which the Dallas Cowboys front line, they should be eating all day long. It's hard to say that you like the Cowboys, because I think the Cowboys are going to win this football game because they're home and it's Thanksgiving. I think they're overall a better football team. But can they cover the 7 points is the question. It's hard to do it, Jeff, but this line just smells like an under. Just because I think the Dallas Cowboys defense and the Washington Redskins defenses are going to play really well, and there's not a lot of home run hitters on either one of these teams that's going to be able to break it loose. Maybe if Zeke runs wild, let's just say Zeke gets 130, 140 yards, that game's staying under. That means the chains are moving and the clock's churning out there. It's hard to do, but I think the under probably is the right play, but you're going to have to hold on for dear life to get it.
Yeah, both these teams 5th and 6th in the league against the run. Listen, you're just not going to find me betting on Dallas on Thanksgiving under Garrett. I'm just not.
How about these two games? You have a lot of question marks in these first games. Like you're trying to read Colt McCoy and Chase Daniel. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, it's Bears, it's Redskins, first 2 games. Again, if you say to me Garrett's 0-2, okay, fine. But 0-7, and he's not even coming close to getting the job done in these games. Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't see it.
How about this, Jeff? One of the more rare things on the ticker board, too. How about this? Spread wagers, 50% in Chicago. Dollar figure, 50% in Chicago. How about that? That's good stuff. 50-50s out there. But no, I said this from before. I don't like to bet on road teams, and I won't do it on Thursday. But one of these 3 teams, Jeff, is going to cover the line as an away team on Thursday and possibly win the football game. Let's kick it off with the next game, Jeff. Make it quick. Atlanta and New Orleans. Down in the Dome, we all saw what New Orleans did to the Philadelphia Eagles. Who knows if the Eagles quit, but it's a lot easier to play football, especially a passing offense or a really good quarterback, to say, hey, they're down their top 5 cornerbacks. Let's just go on an aerial assault and beat this team up. The Saints made every single play. 50-50 ball, they got it. Wide open play, they had it. A play that looked like it shouldn't be made with a diving catch, they made that play. That's the New Orleans Saints. Now they're going to take on the Atlanta Falcons, who, if you watched last week, hard-fought game, came down to the end, lost by a field goal to the Dallas Cowboys. Now you got to pick up your bootstraps and basically say, I don't know if our year's over. This is a must-win football game, but I don't really think a must-win game matters to the New Orleans Saints, because whether or not you need the game, they really don't care or give a shit. And they're at home, and they usually roll. But boy, oh boy, a 13-point line, Jeff, on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think this is where you're starting to get a bit ridiculous with the Saints. This is a good football team, a great football team, a great offense. But again, I still think defensively they have issues. And I think that's clearly been magnified and will be magnified here. You look at their last 2 games. Big man, they killed it against Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Yeah, but A.J. Green didn't play in the first one. And in the second game, the Eagles just quit. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter.
2 banged-up, malign defenses that you played the past 2 weeks if you were the Saints. Now, look, hey, Atlanta's been injured all year, but they're not newly injured. What I mean by that is we lost our 2 cornerbacks the last week, and we're down guys in the game. At least Atlanta says, we've seen you before. We know your offense. We should have beaten you already this year. And roll it out there.
Yeah, I think for the NFL, I think you'll agree with this, Donnie, you got to be in a really good spot for me at 10 or more points to take a favorite in a game in the NFL. It's just not something that happens very often. And coupled with the fact that you look at the other side, I mean, Matt Ryan's a quarterback. Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, all these players, Mohamed Sanu, Hooper, all these players. There's so much offense on the other side. I just can't. I don't see it. And then, Donnie, add in the fact that over the last 10 meetings between these two, only one has been decided by more than 13 points. So these teams play close. They always play close. The Saints defense is not good enough to lay this kind of number. I've seen this story before. I've seen this defense be bad before, and I've seen Matt Ryan hanging games. I think the game's high scoring. This whole notion of, oh, well, the recency biases, every game goes over. Every game goes over involving teams like this. Every time two teams like this play, it's 45-41. That's just how the NFL is now. If you want to be that sharp guy that tries to pick out the under on a game like this, go ahead. But you're not going to find me doing it. Both of these offenses screen points. There's no defense played. The Atlanta Falcons have major issues defensively, so that's obviously been magnified, and we know that. But I lean Falcons. I lean over. I think this is, I don't know, a 41-34 type of game, 41-31, something like that. I'll take the 13 points here, Donnie, in a game where, for me, I don't really want to ever lay 13 with a team, ever.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, you had the two bad teams line up defensive-wise, Tampa Bay, when they played Atlanta, 34-29. But then you had a couple dips, because when you're looking at the Atlanta Falcons, they should be high-flying, but they're not very fast. Like, they don't seem to be hitting those home run plays. 23-20 with the Giants, 38-14 with Washington, 28-16 Cleveland, 22-19 Dallas, with a 60 over-under. It's going to be up to Atlanta in this game. How are we approaching this game? Are we going to try to just, dumb it down out here to try to just keep the clock moving and hopefully score? Because you haven't had that huge explosive type of game in a while for the Atlanta Falcons. And that's the only thing I would worry about, because we're not dealing with 51, 52, 54. You are dealing with 60 points in this football game, and it's two division opponents that are going to match up on a short work week. It just kind of makes it tough in that spot. Do I want to go? I'm not going against New Orleans. I know that line. The line is there for a reason at 13. And if New Orleans wins this football game, is it going to be a close one where New Orleans wins it on a field goal or a touchdown at the end? It's hard. I mean, these three games are pretty tough. And again, I think Chicago is going to win that football game and cover the 3. I think, Chicago, the Washington game, if you're going to get 7, I think that's solid with the under in that game. This is the hardest one for me to cap this last game, because the line is ridiculously high on both ends, if you want to cover and also if you want to take the over in that game. A little bit clearer picture for me on the first two than the third.
Yeah. For me, I take our advice for what it's worth. Can
you go wrong with it? Out of the short week, Jeff? Like, if you're looking at all three of these games, obviously there's a side and a total in each one of these three. What are you the most confident at if you had to play today? Which would you be most confident?
I actually like all three. I think they're all solid games. I think they'll be fun. I think for me, if I had to play, listen, I don't want any part with Garrett on Thanksgiving. I just don't. I think his teams are led poorly. He's a bad coach. And I think Colt McCoy is probably better than most people think. He's probably one of the better backups out there. But, Donnie, you also look at the fact that with the Falcons, and this is important because Alvin Kamara is a dynamic player, as we know. This is Falcon defense, Donnie. Over the last 3 seasons, they've allowed the most receptions to running backs. They get absolutely shredded by opposing running backs. I just think this offense for the Saints will move. But I again, don't buy this Saints defense. I've seen them. I think that Mark Williams kid is one of the worst corners I've ever seen. I think he toasts them as usual, Matt Ryan. I think they are good plays. I think they'll be fun. I think they'll be fun to watch. Should be a great day at football, Donnie, and it should be exciting.
Yeah, a couple banged up players out there. We'll hit it real quick here, getting to these college football games. Not a lot to go over in these two. Not great matchups. The Egg Bowl between Mississippi State and Mississippi. I don't know how Mississippi is going to defend a read option type game. It doesn't seem like they stop anybody. That line now up to 12 and over under of 60.5. Usually you would look at a Mississippi game, Jeff, and say 60. Oh my goodness, let me just take the over. But you sort of draw back a little bit, Jeff, when you see like Mississippi State's actual game play and what they allow on defense and how they like to play games. Doesn't look like they give up too much on defense, even though Mississippi should be able to press the issue and put up some points. But something pulling me off of that game, just saying that's a stone cold over just because Mississippi plays no defense and throws it around on offense. But if you're going to get Nick Fitzgerald read optioning, and him carrying the ball 20 times, they're going to churn some clock in this game.
Well, that's a good point by you. I think if you're Ole Miss, you gotta go for it here. Okay, you're not gonna make a bowl game. You're of a bowl ban, but I think going for it and beating this team is important. You're gonna have to throw the football. That's what Ole Miss does. They don't run the ball. They're one of the highest rated passing offenses in the country. Mississippi State's very good against the pass, but I think Ole Miss is going to be forced. They're going to have to throw the ball deep. They're explosive. The big story, though, and you hit it on the head, is Ole Miss is terrible against the run. They give up 5 yards a carry. They're just awful. And that does not bode well against a Bulldog team that, like you said, Moorhead, read option, a running quarterback. I mean, this could get ugly on the ground for Ole Miss. I don't think that they have any sort of ability to stop the run. They don't get to the quarterback. They don't generate pressure. At 60, again, all these games I would take Flyers on. I think the total's got a little value because I think Mississippi State's going to get to the 40-point mark. I think their offense is starting to roll a little bit. And I think Ole Miss will obviously – I kind of look at it like a soccer game, Donnie. If you're down 2 goals aggregate in the final leg, you got to go for it. You can't sit back. You got to shoot your shot. You got to take attempts. Listen, Donnie, at the bar, if you see that girl there, it's getting towards the end of the night, you haven't talked to her, you got to shoot your shot. Shoot or shoot, as they say. You're not going to get anywhere if you just stand there while she leaves. You got to go over. You got to put your shot out. Hey, I'm Jeff. How are you? Good, baby. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks. That's what you got to do in a game like this, Donnie. Shoot your shot. I think you shoot your shot because it makes sense here, doesn't it? Bad run defense, good run offense. Team's got to score points. Hey, if it falls 34-20, what are you going to do? But I think we've made a decent case here for an over. The other game, Air Force, Colorado State. This game won't have my money. I will say, though, I think Air Force has quit. The way they lost last week's got to be damning, even to an Air Force.
No way. It's Academy, Senior Day. You know about this.
But Donnie,
they fall up on Senior Day. You know how much this means to these kids today to play at Senior Day?
Yeah, but you have to get into the mindset of you almost look at it and say
you know the academies. You say it all the time. Nothing bothers them. They just wake up the next day. They're used to dealing with adversity. And a Senior Day at an academy, Jeff, they're crying. This means so much to these kids today.
Right, but I think there is something to the fact of I do think there is a point to I don't think they blow Colorado State out, though. I mean, winning the game is just fine with Air Force. You got to win by 2 touchdowns and more. You got to win by 20. You got to win by 17.
By the way, there's going to be points in this football game because Colorado State can't stop a sieve out there on the ground, and neither can Air Force. I mean, you have the one. Say what you want. We've seen some clunkers from Colorado State.
No, Air
Force. You're not going against a very athletic secondary for the Air Force Academy in this game. And if it looks like, from what I'm seeing here, Colorado State's wide receivers are healthy. They have 2 really good wide receivers that if you just pitch and catch with them, there will be points because Colorado State's going to give it up on the ground, which is what Air Force does. And Colorado State, if they're competent on offense, they'll move the football today.
And that's the thing, Donnie, with Air Force. You look at last week in the snow up in Wyoming, Tyler Vanderwall came off the bench and destroyed Air Force.
Yeah, there were 62 points last week between an offense that doesn't like to do anything in a snowstorm against a really good – and we're talking about Wyoming, one of the better rushing defenses in the country. They put up 62 in that game. We had 2 top 20 rushing defenses in bad weather when both teams wanted to run the football. Let that sink in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you here. It's a great point by you. Listen, Donnie, I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to be it. This is the best show we've ever done, I think, on this particular show. Terrific information.
As long as I appear on it, it's definitely a good show.
You know, just listen. The chemistry between Donnie and I is just poignant. I mean, it's so obvious. It's so out there. It's not even funny. I'm thankful for Donnie Wrightside. I appreciate him being a friend and being a great partner here on the shows that we do. I thank all of you. I know it can be a rocky time sometimes for all of us. But we have to remember, keep your eye on the ball. Things will start to come into perspective. I thank all of you for being kind. Some of you for being assholes, but you know what? You all motivate me. Some of you negative people, you motivate me to get it going better. Thanks, Donnie. Thanks for everything. Thanks to all the people that watch. Thanks to everyone at SBR. I'm thankful for all of you guys for helping us do these shows every day and getting them out there to people. We're just trying to put out some good sports information, have some fun on a daily basis. We thanks you for watching us. Donnie, now it's time. No more shows, no more anything. It's football. It's some food. We go see our families, have some fun, and we get back at it tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. We'll get you ready for some not bowl games, some big football games. I think it's bowl season. We'll be there before we know it. Join us for that. You all have a great holiday. and make sure you don't eat too much. But if you
I
do,
will eat way too much today, and we'll have stomach issues tomorrow. So get ready on the show.
sounds good. And for anyone that doesn't know, Donnie and I are actually friends outside of here. So yes,
We're
there
really
is.
not. We're actually really not. Like we fight behind the scenes. We don't even talk. As soon as the camera goes live, we get in character. The minute it ends, I tell Jeff the GFY, and we go on with our day.
Okay, Donnie, someone's asking for us to review what we like on all these games. So we'll do it. Again, we're giving our opinion. These are all free picks for you. Do what you want with them. We like the Bears. We like the Redskins.
Bears, yep.
I like the Falcons plus the points in the over. The college games, I think it was clear. I think if I'm going to play that Mississippi game, I'm looking over the number. And if I'm looking at Colorado State, I'm looking over the number.
I like the Colorado State over. I don't really the Atlanta New Orleans game is just wacky both ways on the side and the total. But if I'm going to look, I need 7 if I'm going to take Washington. But I do like the under. If I had 3 plays today that I had to make, it would be the Chicago Bears. I would have had them yesterday, by the way, at 2.5. But they're 3 today. I still like them. Bears, I would have the under in the Washington-Dallas game, and then I would have the over in the Air Force-Colorado State game. I think you can get a 2-1 out of those.
I like that. Donnie, MLB's, I'm pescatarian. Your thoughts on that?
That's interesting, Jeff. I don't think that's the case, though, for some reason.
The girl I'm talking to right now, she's pescatarian as well. She doesn't eat meat at all.
You got to be gone. Yeah, you got to be gone. You can't be doing that, man. It's like back in the day when you're trying to diet or lose weight, you take a girl out to eat, and she's eating more than you. It doesn't work. The race doesn't work at that point. So.
All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great and safe holiday. Bye-bye.